And let's start with Bastad, from Sweden, the ATP of Swedish Open. So we have here outright markets, Jeremy Chardy, favorite to win at 6, Roberto Carbales Bena at 6, Albert Ramos Vinolas at 6.5, and Nicolas Jarry at 6.5. I will start with Joao. If you have any favorite player to win this tournament, the odds are very attractive. You can do a lot of money, I believe, if you bet 3-4 if you make 3-4 bets and you cash at the end. Do you think that there is value to be made, expecting nice quarterfinals between Jeremy Chardy and Jari here, both of them favorites to win this tournament? How you're approaching this futures market on this Swedish Open?
This is first of all, talking a little bit about the tournament is a tricky one to bet on, because not only the conditions are incredibly slow, it's one of the slowest tournaments on the ATP tour, and it's also extremely windy. Today was not as windy as yesterday and the days before, but it's tough for the players to compete there. So and this week post Wimbledon is, as you said, everything is very close between the players. You don't see a huge favorite to win, and it's hard to find value on the outright market. Regarding tomorrow's games, we already have the odds for 3 matches. There is one that I think it can be interesting, is the one also I wrote about on odds markets, already published the article, is the contest between Federico Delbonis and João Sousa. It will be an interesting match between these two, and it will be the 6th time that they will face each other, and the 5th time that will be on clay. And although Sousa has the lead on the head-to-head, he leads by 3-2. It's important to look closer to those head-to-head, because 2 of those 3 wins were in São Paulo and also in Geneva. And those 2 tournaments have one special thing, which is the altitude. We also have articles about that if you want to read a little bit more about how the weather conditions and the altitude can influence the game. But just to explain it pretty quickly, at altitude, the air density is lower, so the ball will travel faster through the air, and players like Sousa, who likes to hit the ball early and strong and like those fast conditions, likes to play on altitude, while on the other hand, Delbonis has a long preparation on his forehand, so he has more problems to play on those conditions. So it's not a surprise that Sousa beat him on those 2 tournaments, but this week is the opposite. They're playing in very slow conditions. Delbonis has all the time in the world to dictate the points with his forehand, and also the fact that he's left-handed and Sousa's backhand is by far his weakest shot is also an advantage for the Argentinian. So I think that's 1.66 is an interesting price. Should be around 160, 155, the fair price, and we should see also this price dropping in the next couple of hours.
Yeah, I think that if you publish the article on Odds Market, this is what is happening also with my articles, also with my plays on Twitter. The odds are dropping fast, and I don't understand why. Perhaps many people are following us, and they are making profit following our bets. What do you think about that plays? Nice. Tell us a little bit about this tournament, your approach, and if you have some interesting bets for the quarterfinals. As Joao said, we have already odds for 3 of the 4 quarterfinals for tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to first of all just give a shout out to Båstad. That is my home tournament in Sweden, played on the southwest coast. As Joao said there about the conditions, it's incredibly slow and incredibly windy as it is very close to the water, and the courts aren't that protected. And as he also said, it being played the week after a Grand Slam makes it very tough to estimate which players come there with an actual mind and to compete and win the title and not just collect a paycheck. So usually on these tournaments, I don't make any outright bets because it's just so hard to know who's going to show up, and it's a bit too risky. So I'm also going to pass on the outrights, but I do have bets for the quarterfinals here. So starting with the match that.
I'm sorry. We know 3 quarterfinals, but I think that we already know also the 4th quarterfinal. Richard Gasquet playing with Juan Ignacio Londero. He's about to win his match with Hugo de Liender. Very nice performance from Ignacio Londero. Why is Richard Gasquet priced at 10 to win this tournament? Because he doesn't have huge, tough competition, let's say.
Richard Gasquet hasn't really looked fit for a long time. He underwent a hernia surgery back in January and still recently came back to the tour. I did watch a bit of his match today, and he struggled a lot, had a lot of problems in winning that in 3 sets. And so obviously slow clay is the most punishing surface for him fitness-wise, and I'm not sure that he is ready for a long run here. So that's why the price is pretty high, and I'd stay away from him personally, because I think it will be tough for him to go all the way.
Okay, I will listen your best matches for tomorrow from the 3 quarterfinals, if you have any.
So I have to agree here with Joao, who broke down that match between Delbonis and Sosa beautifully. I like Delbonis here a lot. He didn't have the best record here in Bosta before. He was 3-4 entering this week, but he's been in good form. Obviously coming off the Perugia final. His ball toss is quite high, which can be a problem in this wind, but he's handled that well thus far, and with his powerful serve and powerful ground strokes, he should be able to hit Sosa off the court. So I've also gone ahead and played Delbonis to win, and I got that at 1.69. Moving on to the second quarterfinal between Jeremy Chardy and Nicolas Khari. I've gone ahead and played the over 22.5 games at 1.82. This is a battle here between 2 huge servers, both holding over or around 80% of the time on clay, and neither is super adept at breaking serve either. They're under the 20% marker there over the last 12 months. Chardy has been broken 3 times in the tournament, Jarry only twice. I'm expecting long sets, as we have seen with these 2 players before, and possibly 3 sets in a very tight affair. So I've gone ahead and played the over there. And just a quick note on Roberto Carvalhes Baena and Albert Ramos Vinolas. This is likely to be a very tight match between 2 grindy players who don't really have huge weapons. They rely on consistency and outlasting their opponents most of the time. It'll probably come down to who has the better day, and I think the prices are just right there, so I'm going to pass on that one.